What's good, YouTube? My name is Kevin O'Neill, and in today's video, we're going to be diving into 5 things I learned from starting and failing businesses until I found success. I want to make this clear, but failure isn't the end. It's just a stepping stone in the process. If you're new here, make sure to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And make sure to turn on those notifications so you don't miss future videos on entrepreneurship, personal finance, and small business growth. Let's get into it. So the first lesson that I learned is that branding matters. I talked a little bit about this in my last video, but the first business that I tried was a dropshipping store, where I found clear iPhone cases with professional athletes holding the Apple on the back of your iPhone like it was a ball. For example, Steph Curry shooting mid-form, but instead of the basketball in his hand, it was the Apple logo on the back of your iPhone. I rushed everything from creating the website, making the social pages, and running the advertisements. And don't get me started on the brand name. Sports Cases 101 is the name that I decided to go with. At 15, I thought I'd get rich overnight, but the lack of professional branding killed the business before it even started. Take it from me, guys. Branding makes or breaks your online business. Your website must be clean, responsive. I recommend a 3-color scheme for everything you guys have. Your website, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything needs to be uniform. And to add more credibility, include reviews on your website, testimonials on your social pages. And if you have an online business, you're selling products on the website, make sure you partner up with PayPal and other well-known payment processors to build even more trust. If this resonates with you guys, if you've tried dropshipping in the past, let me know in the comments below your worst branding mistake and how it affected your business. Lesson number 2, problem solving is key. From a young age, I've always been a problem solver. We used to go to our grandparents' house on Sunday afternoons, and I'd spend my time building towers with those old cardboard bricks. Naturally, as a kid, you try to build the highest tower possible. But when it fell, and it always did, instead of getting mad, moving on to another toy, I'd sit there, content with what happened, and try to understand why it didn't work. I would rebuild it, try it again, and repeat the process over and over again until I got what I achieved. That mindset carried over into my entrepreneurial journey as well. One of my toughest lessons came from hiring in my landscaping business. Sales were up, but I didn't have enough help. When you're finding that first full-time employee, they know most of the time how much leverage they have in the business. They may try to strong-arm you into giving them more money or get fed up with the workload. The turnover rate with manual labor is ridiculously high, but I was expecting these guys to work the full season with me. With people consistently coming and going, it left me with too much work and not enough help. What I learned from last year's failures will lead to this year's success. I'm going to take a lot more time in the hiring process, really dial in the interviews to find driven, hardworking, dependable people who are looking to grow in the business and not just cut grass for the rest of their life. I spent a lot of this off-season trying to systemize the process, from hiring to training to becoming a productive team member. If you guys have dealt with similar issues, let me know in the comments below. I know it's different for every business and every niche, but in the service-based industry, it's very hard to find good help. The third lesson I learned was you need a budget to start a business. Regardless of what anybody says, you need even a little bit of money to go ahead and start the business. When I decided to go full-time in my landscaping business in March of 2022, I drove to the bank. I picked up $3,400 in cash. That was my entire balance at the time. I drove 4 hours away with a rented trailer to pick up my very first commercial piece of equipment. With that money gone and the new piece of equipment for the business, I had to make it work. There was no backup plan. So for anybody starting with $0, here's my advice. First and foremost, you need to grow your network. Become friendly with the local business owners in your area. If it's a service-based business that you're starting, I recommend using the app Nextdoor, which basically culminates a bunch of people in your area and they talk about the neighborhood. But you can go on there and say, hey, I'm so-and-so with this company and here are the services we offer. Joining local Facebook groups is a very good way to grow from zero as well. Put a post out there about who you are and what you do, and people will reach out to you. I think a great thing to do when you're starting out is really lean into the personal side. There are hundreds of contractors who offer the same exact services that you do. So you got to convince them to go with you over everybody else. Tell them you're a young, driven entrepreneur looking to get your first business off the ground. Tell them you're a local kid, you just graduated from that high school a couple of years ago. Do whatever you need to do to have a good interaction with that person and leave them thinking, you know what, I might give that kid a shot. Once you get your first few clients, I recommend scheduling the jobs that you have for one day or for the weekend, and this will allow you to go rent the equipment that you need, make sure those first few customers are paying you cash. You do that same thing for a few weeks or a couple of months, and then you'll have enough money to go buy your own equipment. Starting a business isn't easy, but it's possible if you're resourceful. Hit the like button if you agree, and let me know your best tip for starting a business in the comments below. The fourth lesson I learned was wealth building takes time. I wish I knew this sooner, but it's a slow grind when you're trying to build your personal wealth. The gurus might promise quick money, but the reality is very different. Success comes with laser focus, patience, and sacrifice. The key? Find what works for you. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different set of skills. Hone in on your skills and go with that route. Devote a few years to a plan that aligns with your skills, and it will change your life. For example, if you're a timid person, you have a lot of knowledge on computers, you could go into software development, learn the skills you need from a company working for a year or two, and then use those skills and build your own customer list. You can freelance on Fiverr or start expanding your network. Learning how to code is never going to go away. Businesses are going to need that skill, and if you can put that in front of them and you have a good product, then they're going to buy it. If you're a sociable person, you have great communication skills, then you're going to do well in sales. It's about resonating with that customer, breaking down the barriers. Mark Cuban said it best when he said, selling is helping. If you have a great product and you have a buyer that needs that product, you're just connecting the two. As long as you know your product has value and there's demand for that product in the market, then you connect the two and you go on with your life. I know nobody likes to hear this, but it does take a few years. You need to devote time and effort to it and sacrifice things along the way. You may not be able to go out every Friday night with your friends. You might not be able to watch the football games one day. You might have to take a week off of playing Call of Duty. But do what you have to do now so your 50-year-old self thanks you. Lesson 5, and arguably the most important lesson here, is having the right mentors and network. One of the best decisions I ever made was finding mentors. One of my mentors is my current boss at a sports facility that I've worked at for a while now. He is a very successful individual who made his way with sales. Another mentor of mine is my father, who has worked his way up the corporate ladder, handling the finances and productivity of manufacturing businesses. Once you find a mentor, tell them you want to work for free, tell them you want to intern with them, tell them you want to learn from them. And more likely than not, they'll take you up on the offer. Whether it's a 10-minute phone call or you actually get to spend time working with them in the office, it will go a long way. You got to sit with them and soak up everything you can. Sit in on meetings if it's possible. Listen to sales calls. Watch the way they interact with customers. Watch the way they interact with employees. Ask them questions about how they built their wealth. And write this stuff down. Entrepreneurship can be lonely, but having a network of experienced people, you can't put a value on that. They'll provide advice, perspective, and support when things get tough. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is that failure isn't the opposite of success. In fact, I wouldn't even think of it as a failure. Reframe your thought process and think of a failure as a learning opportunity. Keep pushing, and remember, every successful entrepreneur has faced setbacks. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, leave a comment below, and subscribe if you want to support the channel. If you want more personalized advice, shoot me an email, I have it in the description somewhere, or leave me a comment below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.